Hello, everyone. I'm Devin Thorpe. I'm the host of Rotary in the heart of California, and it's my privilege each month to share some time with our District Governor Jay Hislop. But today we're going to tread into important, urgent waters. We'll be talking a little bit about what's going on in Gaza and what Rotary is doing there. So stick around. You don't want to miss a minute of this conversation. Jay, thank you so much for joining me. We've got so much to talk about this month. Thank you very much for making time. I know you're one of the busiest people on the planet as a district governor, so thank you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you,
you,
Devin. It's great to appear.
oh my gosh, thank you. You've been spending some time recently down in the Mother Lode area of the district, this old gold rush communities that some of which are still thriving today. Tell us about what Rotary is doing and what clubs are doing in that part of the district.
Yeah, it's been great. I spent some time in the what they used to call the southern camps during the gold rush, which was from 1849 basically till 1857 or so. So the towns of Mariposa and Oakhurst, where we have three clubs: Mariposa, which is a sunrise club, Oakhurst, and Oakhurst Sierra. I visited each club and we spent some time together. Our district spans the better part of the Mother Lode, which really goes from Nevada City all the way to Mariposa and Oakhurst in the south. So Nevada City in the north and Mariposa, Oakhurst in the south. Our district includes clubs in Sonora, Murphy's, San Andreas, Angels Camp, Mariposa. I think I said Oakhurst. And that zone was critically important to the prosperity of the United States, which boomed. As everybody knows, California boomed from 1849 until 1857. And the country boomed from the wealth of California, frankly. That's why the country boomed in those pre-Civil War years, was the wealth coming out of California, not just in terms of gold, but also beef and hides and agricultural products. And, California was the economic engine of the entire nation for nearly a decade. And then things changed very suddenly. There was a shipment, and you can see there's a 1 hour program on this on from National Geographic on, I think it's on Hulu, where the last big load of gold was loaded in San Francisco. Over 6 tons of gold from the mother lode were loaded onto ships in San Francisco and taken down to Panama, where there was no canal. So they were taken across Panama by cart and by rail and loaded onto a single ship called the SS Central America. It was a side paddle wheeler, and it set off for Washington, D.C. But as fate has it, that ship encountered a major storm off the Carolinas and sunk in 1857 and was lost. I think 425 people on board were killed, were drowned, and a few survivors were picked up by other boats in the area. That set off two things. Number one, 1857 was the decline of the mother lode. So places like Mariposa and Angels Camp and Columbia basically shut down and died. They were boom towns, and they went from thousands of residents to hundreds of residents in a very short period of time. But we know about that in California. But what a lot of people don't realize, it caused an economic downturn in 1857, which, on the scale of how big America was at the time and where we were as a country, it caused a Great Depression, which has been more or less lost to history. So you can read about it in National Geographic and watch the episodes. But what's important is what happened to those gold towns and how did they survive? Well, most of them did. They shrank into very small communities, and they remain quite small communities to this day. For example, Columbia, which is a state park, so we do not have a Rotary Club of Columbia. I think it'd be fun to do that. So all you people up there in the Columbia area, Sonora. Let's think about a Columbia Rotary Club that maybe is based on the historical preservation of the town of Columbia in partnership with the state. I think that'd be a reason enough for a Rotary Club to exist. But Columbia probably had 30,000 people in 1852, 1853, all the way up to 1857. Today, Columbia is roughly 2,500 people. Sonora next door is about 5,000. Sonora was probably 20,000 when Columbia was 30. So all these towns declined in terms of numbers, but they thrived. They thrived on a couple of things. A lot of them, very good country up there for ranching. So cattle ranches and farming, dairies, uh, animal husbandry, turkeys, nut crops. There's a lot going on in what was the Mother Lode or gold country now in terms of agriculture. But the big one, of course, is tourism. The people of Mariposa and Columbia and Sonora, Angels Camp, Murphy's, they thrive on tourism because the areas are so beautiful and there's so much history there that people just flock to those areas. It's
Wow.
fabulous now up there.
That's amazing. Now, give us a sense of what the clubs are doing right now, how they're engaging with Rotary, because you've been out to see some of these clubs. Give us a little report on what their activities are.
I ask them what their towns would be without Rotary, and people pause for a minute and they say, it just wouldn't exist the way it exists now. Rotary in each of these cities, each of these towns, is an important part of the fabric of the community. And these are not huge clubs. These are clubs of 45, 50, 60 individuals, but they really are the heart of those cities. And they do amazing things. The San Andreas Club closes Main Street for in San Andreas for a fundraising event they call the Raging Cajun. And I think I spoke about that maybe on our first podcast. Gail and I went up there. It was fabulous. It's fun, it's laid back. All these tourists and people from the local community kind of blend together just to have fun together and eat Cajun food. It's just a wonderful event. They have the same club sponsors, I think 3 or 4 rib cook-offs. And they've provided District 5220 with our district governor nominee designate, David Schmeeds. Dave is going to add so much to the leadership of the district. We're just really looking forward to embracing him in the fold of our district governor line. You look at Mariposa. Mariposa Rotary took on a project many years ago of finding out the details of Mariposa, the historic details of Mariposa, and preserving them. So they have historians in their club that dig deep and find the details, find the locations where events happened, and they produce metal plaques that they then embed into stone or concrete or a bench or a marker of some sort throughout the town of Mariposa. And that's a continuing project. That's a project where they're constantly looking for the small events of history that they can tell a story about Mariposa and preserve it for all time in metal. Great project, great ongoing project. But I have to say, in each of these communities, when I ask the question, can you imagine Angels Camp? Can you imagine Sonora? Can you imagine Groveland without Rotary? And the Rotarians almost shed a tear and say, this would not be the same place without Rotary.
Yeah, that is such a it just epitomizes the spirit of Rotary, and it's great to see
Yes.
that operating at that level in those communities. I want to shift gears now, Jay, if you don't mind, to talk about what's going on in Gaza. It's wonderful to see a ceasefire in place. It's been holding now for several days, maybe it's been a week now. Hostages are released. Great news. But the devastation in Gaza, the near obliteration of the country's infrastructure, structures, homes,
Yeah.
it's just devastating. Tell us a little bit about what Rotary is doing to support the people of Gaza at this point.
Well, you can see I'm wearing my ShelterBox bling today, hat and shirt. I'm a ShelterBox ambassador and have been for nearly a decade, which means I'm one of Rotary's links to ShelterBox. ShelterBox started as a Rotary Club project in Great Britain. In the UK, a single club decided that what was missing in humanitarian relief efforts for both natural disaster and global conflict was shelter. Shelter was absent. We see food and medicine, water, sanitation being provided by a lot of different organizations, but shelter was consistently missing. So ShelterBox's mission is to provide shelter in areas of natural disaster. We're mobilized today in the Philippines for the weather events that have occurred, the devastating weather events that have occurred in the Philippines. So we are mobilized today in the Philippines, actively giving out shelter. We don't focus on medicine. Doctors Without Borders do that. Other organizations do water and food. Um, we focus on shelter. ShelterBox focuses on shelter. The problem with Gaza has been we haven't been able to get in. ShelterBox has not been able to get in to Gaza to deliver aid. We've managed to get some aid through, either through Egypt or through Lebanon, but it's been scant. If you look at the drone footage right now, you'll recognize tents that appear to be ShelterBox tents, and they are not ShelterBox branded, but they came originally from ShelterBox. There's reasons for not putting the ShelterBox brand on things in a war zone, but we couldn't send volunteers in there. So we have partner organizations in Gaza that are ready to receive aid, shelter aid. Right now, today, I spoke with our mothership in Santa Barbara, and I learned that we have aid poised both in Egypt and the UAE and in Lebanon, ready to begin to help the people of Gaza with shelter as soon as the border opens to trucks loaded with shelter. Right now, they're not allowed in. They're still not allowed in. The only trucks getting through are trucks with medical supplies, clean water, and food, which are all important. But people who are exposed are more prone to illness and death. Shelter, as thin as a tarpaulin, saves lives, and it provides a home. It provides comfort for people and allows them to have a place where they can gather with their family and friends, cook a meal, tell stories, try to get their lives back together again. So ShelterBox is ready. We're ready. We have materiel ready to go in the form both of tents, the classic ShelterBox tent, which everyone has seen, but also a new initiative in ShelterBox. We provide more shelter in terms of shelter kits. We've learned over many years, ShelterBox has learned that not every place has a flat area or an area conducive to pitching a tent. It's very difficult to pitch a tent on rubble. But in that rubble, there are building materials that can be assembled into a frame, and those frames can be covered with high strength tarpaulins. They can be fastened with nails or twine or rope. We provide shovels and hammers and all the things that it would take to create a shelter, maybe not as strong as a tent or as long lasting as a tent, but some place for people to find an enclosure where they can rest away from the sunshine and the coldness of the night. So ShelterBox is there. We're ready to move in. We're hoping this ceasefire holds long enough to get food, medicine, and water in there and immediately be followed by shelter relief.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? It's so urgent, the need. We see, every night on the news, we see the video of Gazans en masse moving about unsheltered, dragging their belongings.
Yes, horse
It's
carts.
Yeah, it is a scary situation, and this is in a community that always, in difficult circumstances, it's never had the economic stability of the rest of Israel. It
Yeah.
is nonetheless, right, a place where that had certain modern elements, all destroyed. The infrastructure's gone, the hospitals, most of them gone. It's
Right.
just a housing surge. So I'm so glad that you and Rotary are engaging in that. I'm proud to be a small part of that as a Rotarian. One of your other passions is Rotary's effort to eradicate polio. Give us a quick update on that before we wrap up, okay?
Yeah. This morning, in addition to visiting with my ShelterBox colleagues, I reviewed the weekly report from Rotary on the efforts to eradicate polio worldwide. We only had one new case of wild polio virus in Afghanistan. And I think most people are aware that until we eradicate polio with the oral vaccine worldwide, we won't be able to shift everyone into the shots. So the oral polio vaccine can get into the environment. So we also have cases of variant polio virus that actually comes from the vaccine. And of course, people who are opposed to vaccines point to that as being a massive problem because the vaccine itself is infecting people out of the water supply because vaccinated people go to the bathroom. And if they go to the bathroom in water supplies that other people drink downstream, there is a chance that they can get polio, a type of polio variant from a mutated vaccine. But I want people to recall that when we started this process in 1986, millions of people were being infected worldwide and hundreds of thousands were dying. And the people that survived were largely becoming at least paraplegics, if not completely paralyzed. Um, so this is an outcome to have some people still being infected, even as we're giving the virus in a attenuated form as a vaccine. So if you look at the chart of what's happened since 2020, we have a continuing decline of both wild type polio, and that's only in two countries, Pakistan and Afghanistan, and the variant type polio from mutated vaccine. What we see is that if this trend continues, we will be able to eradicate polio in the next few years. We're very close. Bill Gates and the Gates Foundation announced this week that they recognize that the loss of funding from government agencies for world health, and it's not just in the United States, other countries followed the United States lead in ending global health initiatives, which left us holding the bag, if you will, left private organizations, philanthropists, and service organizations to try to eradicate polio without a lot of support. And Bill Gates's message was, hang on, people, we can get this done. The Gates Foundation is redoubling their efforts. He has some new initiatives that he's going to be announcing in the next few days and weeks. And I have to mention that every dollar that anybody, Rotarian or non Rotarian, gives to Polio Plus, which is a charitable account at the Rotary Foundation, giving directly to Polio Plus, the Gates Foundation matches each of those dollars with two more dollars. So every dollar a person gives to Polio Plus becomes $3. And that's enough to vaccinate one child somewhere in the world. So I'm not sure what the Gates Foundation has up their sleeve just yet, but the magic is coming. And I'm very hopeful that with the efforts of Rotary and the Gates Foundation, we will be able to eradicate polio. There's a little bit of fatigue, Devin, in the Rotary community that we've been fighting this fight since 1984, really, 85. Just a long time. And people are saying, I don't want to hear about polio anymore. I want to move on. I want to do something else. Because we've been this close to eradicating polio for this long. And But let's not lose sight of the fact that we are this close and we can get this job done. And in the words of our president, our Rotary International president, Francesco Arezzo, we made a promise to the world to eradicate polio, and we will keep that promise. So my message to all the Rotarians in the heart of California and Rotarians worldwide who might catch this podcast, and all of our non-Rotarian podcast watchers and listeners, think of writing a check to Polio Plus right now, because we need it now more than ever. And we will take that money, and every dollar of it will vaccinate a child.
Yeah, that's what a powerful message. What a powerful message. And, the link is on the screen. Endpolio.org is a great place to go ahead and
Perfect.
contribute that.
Yeah.
Contribute there. If you're not in a Rotary club, especially, and already connected to those opportunities,
Right.
yeah, that endpolio.org is a great resource for just learning more and donating. Jay, as we wrap up, I imagine you've got a message for district Rotarians. Maybe we could conclude with what you might want to say to district Rotarians about what's going on in the district right now.
Two things, Devin. One is Rotarians really relate to their clubs. They see their club as being Rotary, and that's true. Rotary happens at the club level. I just mentioned the Mariposa Club putting historical plaques throughout the city of Mariposa. That's a club project. But Rotary is an international organization. So I would like all Rotarians in the district to think about, what could I do for the district? What leadership role could I possibly do in the district? And I'm not asking people to become the chair of the membership committee or the chair of the fundraising committee. I'm just asking you to say, hey, I'm good at fundraising. Can I help? And we'll find a place for you. I'm good at photography. Can I help with public image? We'll find a place for you. I'm really good with social media, but I don't want to be the social media chair of the District 5220. We already have a chair. She needs your help. Anything you think you're interested in youth, we've got a safeguarding youth program that we need to roll out district wide. You can be a counselor at RILA. You can help us bring youth from around the world in a new Rotary Youth Exchange that we're just reinventing in our district today. Find out what your passion is, call me, email me, or any of the district governor line, Pete Herman, Christy Smith, Dave Schmeeds. Let us know what you want to do. But please don't think of yourself as a Rotary Club member only. Think of yourself as an international Rotarian looking for a way to lead, and we'll help you find that leadership role. In the meantime, don't forget, coming up on November 1st, we've almost sold out our foundation dinner. It's going to be held at the Doubletree in Modesto, November 1st, starting at 5:30. It's going to be a fun, lively, vibrant evening, excellent food, no host bar, and one of the greatest speakers, most sought after speakers in Rotary International, Greg Pod, who's the vice chair of the Rotary Foundation. And he's going to be talking about Rotary Foundation stories you've never heard before. So we are going to have fun. We're going to be enlightened. We're going to meet with friends and have fellowship. And it's something you don't want to miss. And as I said, we're nearly sold out. So go today to the district website and a District 5220 website and register for the District Foundation dinner. Do it now. Do it immediately and be there. You'll be sorry if you miss it. And the other thing I want to mention, and we'll talk about it again next month, is we do have our 5 district conference, the Far West Fest, coming up in Reno at the Grand Sierra Resort, May 1st through 3rd. So save those dates. Don't miss that either.
Yeah,
Going to be the
that's
best
going to be
district
great.
conference we've ever had.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Jay, thank you so much
Thank you,
for
Devin.
taking the time to do this. I hear from Rotarians all the time. They love hearing from you, and I think
Thank you.
members of the community beyond Rotary are appreciating the message. So thank you very, very much.
Devin,
Listen, everybody.
if I
Oh, go
may,
ahead.
I've been getting very positive feedback about your podcast here, and how you host this podcast and how the podcast comes across. And I had a text the other day, not the other day, but after our last podcast, I have a text from a good friend in Rotary, and he said that was the best hour I spent of my day.
Oh, that's great. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Jay, and thank you all for watching and tuning in.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
really appreciate you all, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next month for Rotary in the heart of California.
Thank you. See you next month.
We're heading out to Reno, pack your smiles and friends. 5 districts strong, where the good times never end. Grand Sierra's calling, May 1 through 3. Rotary together, living joyfully. Far West Fest, come and play. We'll bowl for polio and light the way. Leaders inspire, the laughter's the best. Join the fun at Far West Fest. Strike it rise all night. Rotary's rolling and shine so bright. Rotary in the heart of California. Service above, self is how we lead.